we're going to talk about the Pareto principle, or as we understand it, the 20-80% rule. The 20-80% rule is actually derived from a guy named Pareto who found out that 80% of the land is actually being owned by 20% of the people. On the basic understanding, so with level 1, you know that for the 20%, there are some optimal 20% that gets you 80% of the results. So, like in life, 80% of the results, 80% of the work usually gets done by the 20% of the people. So on the mid-level section, you know, it's understanding like this. When you do a production, when you do 80%, you know, of the results, you do it by 20% of the input. So you know also the reverse. In order to get that additional 200%, so that the difference between 80 and 100%, you need to invest much more effort. So if we switch that, for that additional 20%, you need 80% additional effort. So sometimes when you do the calculation, especially in software development systems, you don't want to do that additional 80% of the resources because you want to test out on the marketplace first. So you get a buggy software out there. That would mean that only 80% of the software is done, which in turn means that 20% of the bugs are still in there. It's usually hindering the user experience, but yeah, that's just the way it is. On the genius level, it's still 20% of the 80% results. But this time, we're gonna switch it around. You know, if you want to succeed in life, what you should do is get rid of the 20% that holds you down, of the 20% that is bad for you. So 20% of bad habits, 20% of habits that are not productive for you, 20% of that bad friends that always go binge drinking, 20% of that friends that don't exercise, 20% of those don't hang out with those 20% of those co-workers that don't do anything but complain. You should just get them out of your life, and with that you will gain 80%. By doing this repeatedly, you will, it's popular to say 10x, but you will gain 80% of the benefit. By eliminating the 20% that hold you down, that are bad for you, you will gain 80% plus. Because those 20% are actually, statistically speaking, and logically speaking, and emotionally speaking, and financially speaking, holding you down by 80%. So by eliminating these very bad items on your list, on your line, you're gonna gain much more. So if you do this continuously, you're gonna go much faster than you would normally by doing the effort like you usually would. So by eliminating 20% of your bad habits, if your bad habit is drinking, if your bad habit is smoking, if you eliminate that, you will gain 80% in your life, because this all compounds in the long term, meaning you will get better and better in the spare time. So 20% of the time that are bad for you, you will rearrange the positive things, that are 80% of the positive things, to 100%, and that will gain you all the benefits, all the extra unfair advantage that you need. So getting rid of the 20% of bad habits, of bad ideas, of bad friends, bad co-workers, bad employees, bad investments will gain you 80% more. You know, Warren Buffett once said, I've done a lot of things that are so in terms of investment, but I've done a dozen that are really well. That's just the principle of 80-20%. You need to gain the plus side, you need to get rid of the bad decisions, and then if you do so and some really good, you're gonna be really successful, because you got rid of the minus 20%. Next time we can talk about the Six Sigma system, but today that's it from now. Bye.